Yep, and now I would like to welcome all of you, both in north of Jutland and here on Fyn, to these two presentations we have on the topic about reproduction and how to make the optimal inseminations of the sows. And at first, I would like to introduce Brian from Nygaard. Brian Nygaard from the pig. Oh, what's your name, Brian? You will represent yourself. Sorry, but Brian has some very nice points about the optimal insemination structures and the routines about that. So there will be some good take-home messages from him. And after that, my colleague Hans will introduce some issues about diseases and different complexes that influence the reproduction in the sow unit. So please, we'll have a few questions after each speaker, and from out there you can send a message either on SMS or on the chat. If you're online, you can write me on the chat, and I will make the questions here for you. So welcome out there, and welcome to you, Brian. You better introduce yourself. I couldn't. Sorry.
No problem. Yes, thank you for inviting me. And just a little bit about me. I'm 55 years old. I have inseminated sows and taken care of pregnant sows for more than 30 years. I have worked on 4 different farms. And this experience from this more than 30 years, I have tried to put in my small brain and use all this information, took the best from here and here and here, and this is how I go on advice. The last 6-7 years I worked, my average faringsprocent, everybody know what faringsprocent is. Some words will be in Danish. But faringsprocent, the last 6-7 years, it has not been under 94%. So the last many years I have been between the best in Denmark when you look statistic. Why? Because I focus on many small details. Sometimes people say, oh, it's not important. Yes, everything is important. And if you collect a lot of small details together, it can make a big difference. So the difference between an average farm in Denmark and the best farm in Denmark, what is that? The best farm, they have focus on all details every day. So let's try and see what we can talk about. How can we make success in the insemination stable? Typical mistakes. I will try to talk about this the next half hour. First, we have the small semen locker, the fridge where we have the semen. We have to talk about light. We have to talk about feeding, especially from weaning until insemination. How we use the bores from weaning until insemination, and how we use the bore when we inseminate. And then I have a big line under the insemination routines, because all the routines about the insemination, everything, that's where I see the most mistakes. And the last one, the most important period. Sometimes people ask me, what is most important? Farstal, løbestal, drægtigstal? No, everything together. I want to talk about the most important period. We'll come back to this later. First, if we start with this place where we are supposed to keep the semen. Sometimes it looks like this, and that's not good. Why? Because we cannot use it for garbage and everything else. It's something mentally in your brain that will happen. It's full of shit, you don't have focus on it. It have to look like this. This one here is, I think it's more than 6 years old, and it still looked like new. If you want to start to inseminate 8 o'clock, and you go and open this one to take the semen from this one or the semen from the top over there, Just by opening this one, it will tell your brain, it doesn't matter, it's... And this knowledge, you'll go into the stable and you'll work like shit in there. No, never do this. Keep it like this all the time, because when you open this one, you'll think, I have respect from the job. And this respect, this focus, you will put in your brain, and when you go in and start inseminate, you will work with bigger discipline because it looks like this. So everything starts here. And it's a good idea they stay like this. Don't put them in the plastic bag like you can see someplace here. Because if it stays in here for 3 days or 2 days, all the small semen, if you can see my hand, if you have a bag like this or a bag like this, if you put it like this, all the semen will fall down and then it will be white in the corner like milk. If all the small semen will connect with the tail, maybe they will catch each other and they can't move. But if you put the semen like this, there will be a much bigger surface to fall down, so they cannot connect to each other. So in the future, when you open your fridge, it looks like this, and you have a good start. Then we have to talk about light, because light is also a big problem in many places. The picture on the left, there's almost no light. We need light to create life. And when it's so dark, that means the animals are almost sleeping in the brain all the time. When you get to springtime and summertime, you have a lot of sun, you get more active. Everything starts to grow. The grass, the trees, everything develop. If it's dark, everything sleeps. So the picture on the left, when you have a situation like this, you will never get top results. Light is so important. If you look at the picture on the right, you can see we have a good light, but the problem is under the light because we have a big metal plate under the light. So this metal plate under the light will steal all the light, so the light will never come down to the sow. Sometimes people put a small iron things and they put the straw on this iron. The straw will also steal the light. No, we need full access. So good light will look like this. Nothing to block the light. The light can go down where the sow sleep, and the light can go down where the sow eat. And if you look on the left, I have 2 words. It have a direct influence and it can have an indirect influence on the sows. When a sow is staying down where she sleep, where she have her head on the concrete, if the light can go directly to the head, it have a good influence. But right now, when you sit here, try and look outside the window. Try and look. If you look outside the window here, 8 o'clock in the evening, it will be totally dark out there. You sit in here and you have directly light, it have a positive influence. But if you look outside and it's dark, it will start to tell your brain to brrr. But if it's summertime, 8 o'clock in the evening, and you sit here and you look outside and it's still full of sun, maybe you want to go out and play football, you will still be active. So the light have to hit the sows directly in the head, but it also have to be more bright in front of the sow so the sow can look into some light. Okay? Remember this. So never put the light over this metal plate or put straw under. If you have this net with straw over the sow, put the straw here, close to the inventory here, and also here, and then the net is open here so the light can go down. We need the light for the sows. We need light 16 hours per day. That means, for example, 6 morning, 10 evening. Not just from weaning until insemination, but from weaning until insemination, and from insemination and 3-4 weeks later until you scan them. The 3-4 weeks after insemination, they need the same light like from weaning until insemination. So that means we have 4 or 5 weeks with the same amount of light. Some people have only an insemination stable where the sows are 1 week and they have a good light. After insemination, they move them into a control stable and they stay there 3-4 weeks. The light have to be the same. If you put them into a dark room, you will never have top results. So remember, from weaning until insemination, a lot of light, 16 hours per day. from insemination until scanning 3-4 weeks later. Also a lot of light, 16 hours per day. And when we talk about light, we have different kinds of light. You can put very good light, like we have here, very professional light. It gives a good effect. But you can also buy this LED strip. But if you do this, the light can look like this. It's flashing. Dum, 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 dum. Maybe you cannot see it with your eyes. But if you take your telephone, put your telephone on video and on slow motion. So if you have your telephone put on video and slow motion and try to look at the light, maybe some of the light will flash like this, and then it's bad. Some people cannot see it, but your phone can see it. But there are some people who have very sensitive brains. They can see this light, and they get stressed in a room like this. So maybe if some people can register this light flashing, maybe the sows can also. So if you put a lot of light in the head of the sow, and they can register this flashing, it will stress them. So try and go home in your stable and put your camera on video and on slow motion, then you can check everything. So if you want to buy some new and put up in insemination stable, buy the right thing that's not flashing. Then you know you have no stress. From weaning until insemination, we can feed the sows 2 different ways. If you look in the bottom of the page, there is a blue line where it says typical dry food mistakes. And there is an orange one, it says good feeding. The difference between, for example, wet food and dry food. Wet food, you can put a curve into the computer. So every day the computer can regulate the food. People who use dry food, they are more lazy. So they know we wean the sow, for example, Friday, we have to inseminate Tuesday and Wednesday. I don't want to go and regulate this feed automat every day. So I find the average, maybe 4.55 feeding units, and the sows will eat this the next 5-6 days. But the wet food computer can automatically give a lot in the beginning and step by step go down. What is the effect of this? If you look at the blue line, dry food, and if you look on Friday, you can see Friday, they have less than, for example, the wet food people. That means the first day or 2, the sows can be hungry. And if the sows are hungry, they are stressed negative. That's not good. If you look on Tuesday, Wednesday, the blue line is bigger than the orange because people don't adjust, they just give the same. So that means now the sows are overfeeded. They are having too much, and they get lazy, and they don't feel comfortable. But the yellow or the orange line, it goes slowly down, so they can eat more after insemination and not so much, but the computer will take care of this. That means every day the sow will be in her comfort zone. If I'm very hungry, I think I get stupid. If I get a lot to eat, I don't want to work. But if I eat like I feel comfortable, I'm the best version of me. It's also for the sows, they have to eat so they feel comfortable every day. That's the only way they produce on maximum. A sow must never stop eating, never. She has to eat close to maximum. That means, for example, if a sow could eat 6 feeding units, I'll give her 5.5. If I give her 6 today, then maybe she will have 6 tomorrow, but maybe tomorrow she could eat 5. It's just a matter of 1 or 2 days before you think, oh, now she can't eat. I stop one feeding or skip one feeding 80% or something. Then you take away more feeding units than if you have reduced a little bit the day before so she can eat constant. A sow has to eat with stability. That means she has to eat every feeding, every feeding, every feeding. Then she feels comfortable, and then she produces. So here, overfeeded, hungry, that's typically what I see when I look at dry food people. After weaning, all the sows are put in the line. We can take the boar and put in front of the sows because we have to check if we have one army sow that's in heat or something like this. No, nobody's in heat. Move the boar to the next section. Check again, nothing. And when you have checked all the new weaned sows, you can just open the doors and the boar can go and talk to all the sows. Maybe you can put 2 or 3 boars so you can make service for more sows. They need to see the boar. They need to talk to the boar because he's like a magnet. He will pull them into heat. But you also have to look at the effect of the boar. Maybe you have a big old boar and you think, oh, he's so nice because when I open the door, he knows exactly where to go. Yeah, but if he go in there and he just look for food, and if there's no food, and then he say, oh, nothing for me, and he stay down, then he don't talk to the sows, then he don't have maximum effect on the sows. We need a boar who can go and talk to the sow, tell the sows that he's the king on the farm, and the sows want to talk to him. We need this connection between sows and boars. If you have a lazy boar, then he don't have maximum effect on the sows. So you do that every day from weaning until the day before you start insemination. When you start the insemination on the big insemination day, for example, if you wean Friday, you want to inseminate Tuesday and Wednesday next week. When you want to start to inseminate, for example, you are 3 people together, 3 people, 1 from Løbestald, 2 people from Farsdal, you want to go in and inseminate. If you want to start 8 o'clock, it's just an example. If you want to start 8 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock. It's not 8:10, 8:15. It's 8 o'clock. If one of the people from Farsdal come and say, I cannot be ready 8 o'clock, can we move it until 8:10? No, it's 8 o'clock. Because if you move the time 10 minutes, you have to find some work to do for 10 minutes. And you think, oh, it's only 10 minutes and you'll watch Facebook for 10 minutes. No, you will not be effective. But the problem is, this guy, he will not come back 8:10. He will come 8:20. So you have lost 20 minutes. And then he will come with his hands in his pocket. Because if we could move it 10 minutes, then 10, 15, 20 minutes, it doesn't matter. Yes? If we start 8 o'clock, it's 8 o'clock. And that means people know, fuck, I have 5 minutes, I have to run. They know how important it is. If you move the time every day, you think it's not important, that means you don't have focus. You only have an influence on what you can see and what you can touch. So that means if you inseminate sows, don't think, oh, after insemination I have to go and move slaughter sows, then I have to vaccinate. You cannot move slaughter sows now, you cannot vaccinate, don't think about it. Because it's still focus on what you are doing. That's why if we start 8 o'clock, we start 8 o'clock. Everybody know how important it is. We open the fridge, take the good semen. We have maximum focus. We'll do a better job. When we start to inseminate, for example, we have maybe 5 sows per section, 5 sows again, 5 sows. We put a boar in front of the first 5. We inseminate. When we are finished in this section, we move the boar to the next section. But then we have to bring a new boar to put in the first section. Some people only use 1 boar and move 1 boar. No, use 2 boars, maybe 3 boars if it's a big line. Why? Because if you inseminate the first 5 sows and you are finished and you move the boar, some of the sows will, where's the boar? Oh, he's gone. Oh, we are finished. They lose focus. But if you move the boar and bring a new one, they will say, oh, he's gone. Oh, but now I have a new one. That means you can keep them in focus double time. And when you can keep the sows activated by falling in love double time, it have a positive effect on the oxytocin level. Oxytocin in Farsdal will press the pigs out and give milk. But in Løbestald, it turn around. So that means when you inseminate and the semen leave the catheter, the sow have to try and help give massage and move the semen inside. And if we can keep a high oxytocin level for a long time, That means she will help the semen for a longer time to move inside. So use 2 bores, maybe 3 bores after each other to keep the sows activated. It can also be if you move the first bore and don't put a second one, maybe one sow will not show you she's in heat because she didn't like the first bore. But when the second bore, she fall in love and you can, oh, she don't want to be inseminated before, but now she's ready. That means you have a better chance to get everybody inseminated. About stimulation. Some people stimulate, they sit on the sow. Some people stimulate a little bit, they put the catheter, they put an elastic on the sow, and then they move on. Some people put a belt around the sow. You can do everything. But don't forget focus. Stimulation. If people use this belt or if they use this elastic to hold the catheter, I see more mistakes than if people sit on the sows. Why? Because when you move the bore in front of the sow, naturally the sow will say, oh, who's here? And she will stay and look maybe 10 minutes. Maybe she's not in heat, but when she look at the bore 10 seconds, if you put your hand, she's not moving, she must be in heat. You put the catheter, elastic, and you move on. Maybe she's not in heat. You have to check and make a test that they are in heat. Because people who don't check them good enough, I see many sows inseminated, for example, 10 days after again. It's not possible, because a sow have a cyclus on 21 days. So that means if one guy from the field, it's always the guys from the field, if they work in the weekend and they don't check the sow good enough, she's in heat, she inseminate. And you have to inseminate on your farm, for example, Thursday and Friday. You inseminate again, but she was already inseminated in the weekend. Yeah, but she was not in heat in the weekend because they didn't check it good enough. So make this test so we know they're in heat. Also, when we make this test, they produce more oxytocin. And when they produce more oxytocin, we have a better effect of the insemination. I have 3 kids home. I know how to stimulate. Look, touch slowly. The first second, you touch her slowly so you don't make her afraid. Then you have different points under the front leg, in front of the back leg, close to the ass, in the middle of the side. You can use your legs to stimulate 2 places. You can use your hand to stimulate behind the front legs. You can lift her up. You can put your body on the arm, on the back. You have 5 places you can stimulate. Nobody likes the same, so you have to touch all places to be sure she's maximum in love. And then you can sit on the sow like this, for example. When we put the bore in front of the sows, maybe just by looking at the bore she falls in love. But what if she's only 80% activated? If we also stimulate, maybe we can put her to 100% because we do something active, we touch her. If she produces maximum oxytocin, we will have a better effect of the insemination. So the first 5-10 minutes after she's activated, we have the best insemination. After 15, 20, 30 minutes, she have lost almost all oxytocin. That means we don't have so good effect of the insemination. So the best insemination is the first 5 minutes after she's activated because she produces oxytocin for many more minutes where she can help transport the semen inside. So you can see if we activate and inseminate after 5 minutes, maybe she still has 30 minutes where she can transport semen. If you go in the insemination room 20 minutes before insemination because you have to find one slaughter sow and take out, maybe you activate many sows. If they are activated 15-20 minutes before you want to inseminate them, they have lost a lot of this good oxytocin. That means when you inseminate her, you don't have maximum effect of the insemination. You can never go into the insemination room before an insemination. 45 minutes, 1 hour before I want to inseminate, nobody goes in the room. Nobody. Don't go and wash window. Don't go on and take slaughter sows. Don't go and take shit out. Nothing. Stay outside. Because these 2 days where the sows or polder are in heat, they are very sensitive. So when you just open the door, start to open the inventar, some sows will say, oh, it's insemination time, I have to be ready, boom. But if you come 20 minutes later, she have lost a lot of good oxytocin. So never go in the room the last 45 minutes, 1 hour before insemination. And when you go, if you are 3 people, all 3 people will stay outside the door, make everything ready, spray, catheter, semen, and then we say, are we ready? Yes. We go slowly inside, get the bore, start in the first section and move on. That means it will be a bigger surprise. And when it's a bigger surprise, we have the chance to inseminate in the beginning of this period and also have a better insemination. If you sit on a sow like this, what I call a normal insemination, you can see I hold the semen bag with my fingers. When you have the semen bag like this, you do like this until you can feel it's full. And then you have a small pressure with your finger. How much pressure? If you have a bottle with water and you use 3 fingers to take this bottle of water, the pressure you have to take on the bottle to lift it, it's the same pressure you have here. When your fingers will tell you the pressure is going away, that's when she open and start to take the semen, when the semen start to go out. From that moment, you know you have to focus down here to see if it's running out. Maybe she stopped, you also stop, but you still have the same pressure. And then you continue until she is finished. And when she is finished taking all the semen, the last thing is going through the catheter. Then you open the bag, wait 5 seconds. If it's not coming back after 5 seconds, she accepted everything, and you can break the catheter and close it and leave it in the sow for 2, 3, 4 minutes. Some people are not sitting on the sows. You have to sit on the sows. Because if you stay next to the sow and only put your hand on the sow, maybe you put 5 kilo on the sow. And the sow will think, bad stimulation. Because if the boar jump on her in nature, maybe the boar will put 150 kilo on the back. And she will think, oh, good man, good stimulation. So the difference between standing next to a sow and put 5 kilo and not have focus. Sit on the sow, you put extra kilo, more stimulation. And when you sit in this position here, you have the chance to see your own sow, what's going on, but you can also see your colleague on this side and this side. And if I sit here, I can say, oh, something is running out from your sow, and my colleague will say, oh, thank you for helping me. If I stay next to the sow and I have a colleague behind me, I don't care about him. That means I cannot help him. It's not teamwork. Have focus the same way so you can help each other, because everything that's important is what's going on here, not what's going outside the window on Facebook. Forget the phone. Focus on what you are doing. You only have an influence on what you can see and what you can touch. You cannot touch a slaughter sow. You cannot touch Polder right now. You can touch this sow. Focus on this one and focus on your colleague. You can also inseminate. For example, here we have elastic to help hold the catheter. And this guy, he's working like this. If you work in a system like this, you need to pay even more attention. Because this elastic will not call you and say, oh, something is wrong. There's only one to find out. It's you, your eyes. I have seen people start 5 sows like this. And when he started 5 sows, he was doing like this. Now I have to wait until they're finished. No! Because this here is a passive stimulation. That means when a sow has been standing with this machine on her back for maybe 1-2 minutes, she starts to lose focus because nothing happened. Maybe she starts to move around. If you go and just touch her a little bit and do like this, you can bring her back in focus. So if you have started a few sounds like this, you have to go and see which one is not interested. Oh, I have to help this one. I have to help this one. So you keep them hot all the time. If you step into 2 sows, so you think I'll stand between 2 sows and you can put your hand on like this. No. You have to go backwards inside, because if you go here, you can only see the ears of the sow and not what's going on behind you. You have to move backwards inside and stimulate the sows, because then you can still see all the catheter if something is running out. You need focus there all the time. But remember, this kind of insemination is passive. This kind of insemination is active, and active insemination will always go faster and have better quality than a passive. You can use the passive, but you need more focus to go and help the sows who start to get weak. Then before we put the catheter, we need clean gloves. We can use one glove, one sow. When we are finished inseminate and we go to the next sow after stimulation and we think she's ready, it's a new glove. Why? Because if the first sow have an infection, maybe she have an infection in the urine, maybe she have some infection, a lot of bacteria. If I go and see, is she ready, and I touch her, what do I have on my fingers? Where do I put my fingers next? The next sow, the next sow, the next sow. That means I can move bacteria from sow to sow. No. But by taking a clean glove, stimulate one sow, yes, she's ready. Just put your hand in your pocket and take this clean glove and put on your hand. It will remember your brain. Why do I do this? To have maximum focus about hygiene so I can get the catheter clean inside. So when you're finished with one sow, glove off. Next sow, stimulate, she's ready. Clean glove on, maximum focus. And you can see this picture. We separate the sow both places. If you only separate the sow in one place, that means sometimes the catheter will touch the shit on the other side and you put shit inside. We have to open carefully so it will get clean inside all the way. If we talk about earmarks, for example, we can talk about stress. I have two kinds of stress, positive stress and negative stress. Negative stress is when you make an animal afraid or not comfortable. Many people say, after insemination, I have just inseminated 5 poult. They are very easy to put earmarks because the ears are still standing like this, so it's just boop, 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 boop. But when you put an earmark in a poult like this, when she's still in love, what will she do? She will scream and move forward and backward, and now she produces adrenaline. Adrenaline is the hormone when she gets afraid, and it's stronger than oxytocin. That means 2 minutes before she was in love, produced a lot of oxytocin. Now you make her afraid, adrenaline will go and slow down the oxytocin. That means you have destroyed a little bit of your own work. So you can do 2 things. You can put an earmark in polte before you move them into løbestald, or you can put an earmark in polte the day after the last insemination. Never the day you inseminate. Leave them alone so they are most comfortable. That will give the best effect of the insemination. The most important period, I told you, løbestald, drægtigstald, farstald, everything is the same, it's connected. If one place is not working, the 2 other will also fuck up. I want to talk about the most important period. The most important period is from the day after the last insemination until the day you move the sows or gills into farstald. It's around 3.5 months. You have 3.5 months to create the perfect sow for farstald. If the sow go perfect condition, no leg problems, not too fat, not too skinny, if you go perfect into farstald, she will start on a very high level. But every day she work in farstald giving milk, tomorrow she will be a little bit more bad. So after 30 days, she is very used. She start here very good, but every day she will stop here. If you put a sow in only on this standard, she will go out on this standard. So if we can put a sow in very good condition, you will bring a better sow return to løbestald 4 weeks later. Use the back fat. Perfect back fat go in, no leg problems, a good sow will come back. Remember, the first 3-4 weeks after insemination, if you have a control stall, if they stay where they are inseminated or if you move them to a control stall, the first few weeks after weaning, the sow recover much better than, for example, 2 months later. That's why it's very important when we keep the sows in control stall that we select skinny one here, normal one here, fat one here, and we give individually food. The fat one don't need so much, the normal one need normal food, the skinny one they need a lot so they can recover. Because the first weeks after weaning, they recover faster and better, and it have a good influence on the pregnancy. So the most important period is from the day after the last insemination until the day you move them into fastel. Create the perfect sow. I write here, I have 3 groups of sows. Group number 1, it's a normal sow, she's perfect. Group number 2, it's a sow for observation. What is observation? It's a sow who have an old problem, but the problem is not active right now. For example, if she have a, do you know the Danish word klovbyld? I don't know what klovbyld is called. But if she have an old damage, you gave medicine, maybe a few months ago, you fixed the problem. Maybe you can still see a problem, but she's okay. That's a sow for observation. And group number 3, it's sows who need medicine. Group number 2, the observation group, it's the most important. Because if you follow the sows who have a chance to develop the old damage, if you follow them every day, that means you will find them on day 1 if it changed from stage 2 to 3. If you don't observe group 2 sows, you will not find her today. Maybe you will find her Monday next week. That means you will be 4 days too late. Maybe you have to take her out for hospital. Maybe you have to shoot her. You have to be in front of the problems. It could be one like this. On the leg down there, she have an old nail that was broken, so she had a small infection before, but I fixed the problem with medicine, but I can still see the old problem. So she's an observation sow. She have no problems right now, but I can see her old problem. And if she fight with a sow from group 1, this old damage will start to get activated before a group 1 sow will have a problem. What can you use? Take a lot of notes, use some statistic, communicate. Communication between the team is the most important. Only by sharing information, communication, you'll be strong as a team, and it's teamwork. Nobody can do it alone. No matter how good you are, nobody can make results alone. So if you don't follow me on Facebook, you can find this one and you can scan it and you can start to follow me on Facebook. But what I told you here today, it's only a small part of everything I normally work with. It was just to give a small introduction of some of the things I look at when I visit a farm. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And I have my chat open here, so if there's any questions from North or from Western Fyn, I know there's some guys sitting out there. You can write on the chat. I have just one question, Brian. You're talking about the feeding after weaning and this curve. You want to slow down the feeding. Do you see any problems with if we have a high-producing sow milking a lot at weaning time, when you make this very slow drop in feeding? If there's any problems with the milking and mastitis?
I have seen a few places, maybe if I visit 100 farms, maybe 2 or 3 places can say if they feed too hard the first day, it maybe can be a problem, but it's maybe 2% of the things I see. And why does a sow have to go down? Because her milk production stopped. That means her body will ask for less and less food. Polder, instead of this week, they can eat constant because they have no stopping milking production.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the audience here? And I can see there's nothing on the chat as well. Well, then I will say thank you very much, Brian, for a very good presentation. We got some good messages to bring home on the details. And if anything, I guess you'll stay here and listen to Hans, or you leave now?
I have a long way home. I have to go home and prepare where I have to visit tomorrow.
That's super. No more questions for Brian. Thank you very much. And then,
Thank you for listening.
Okay. And now I will say welcome to my colleague Hans. He will bring some news about the infections and stuff that we struggle with.
Yes, it's soon Christmas. And we'll soon have beers. I think we should have beer now, or what?
It's here.
It's here?
Yeah.
drink and listen. Focus, focus. We just heard from Brian. We have to focus, so we cannot drink at the same time. So, and I think many. Yeah, focus. Just do the first thing. Yes, I think following Brian's presentation here, I think many of the things will resolve because this systematic teamwork that you do in your farms already now will fulfill that the farrowing rate will be high. But for sure, there's a problem in many of our farms, and also in average that we are 87 in farrowing rate, and actually the best farms can be 93, 94. But also some farms, let's say 80 or less, and this is for sure a very big problem because there's a lot of work that is simply wasted. I will focus on some of the things, some of the issues that can be a problem, especially can be different diseases, but for parvo, PCV2 and 3, leptospira, chlamydia. And I think also, and that what we sometimes see is a hidden disease that we have cystitis, and this is bladder infection that sometimes can cause problems. For sure, I will also tell you a little bit about blood parasites, and we know that toxins, PRS, flu, and generally infections can cause a lower farrowing rate. But just to get started, for sure, we must say that farrowing rate is achieved by having inseminations and the sows that will also farrow at the same time. So if you are 90% of farrowing rate, then 10% of the sows did not farrow. And what will happen for this? One of the things can be like in the average farm in Denmark, sow mortality is now 16%. It's going down, but it's going slowly. And we must say that many of these, like in this presentation or in this slide, we can see that approximately 50% of the sow mortality is during gestation. And this means that if you are 16% sow mortality, and this is what we very often see, then probably 8% will be dying during gestation, and means that the optimum farrowing rate you can have is 92. Because 8% will simply be dead, and this is problematic in many ways, and this is also what for animal welfare, but also for sure for the general production and performance. We can see that this is the different columns, and this is from Seges Insights, which is a database that show these things. The dark or black dot is what is in this specific farms, but in average we can see that approximately 8% of the sows will die during gestation. It can be a huge variation, but also a lot of sows just will die just after farrowing, and this is for sure will not have any consequence for the farrowing rate, but during gestation it will influence. What we very often can see, and this is a little bit related to Danbred, and we must say that it's a very good prolific genetics, but the negative side of this is that the sow mortality is higher. And what we've seen in many farms, also this is for the green one, that we see approximately, this is from one farm, but it's very similar for many others, that approximately 50% of all the sows die suddenly. It dies without any reason. Sometimes just moving the sows from insemination or control area to gestation, and they suddenly die for heart disease or something else. So this is a big challenge for us how to solve this. I'm sure we can solve some of it for vitamin E, and also for the future that the genetic development will help us, because they have focused now on sow mortality and will reduce. So in many ways, hopefully, we can improve the farrowing rate. 87 is an average in all farms in Denmark and has been very, very stable in 20 years. It's the same, 87 every year. Some farms for sure higher, some lower, but still it's a problem. What we can see from the rest of the reasons for dying is for sure acute death, but then it's bad legs. Most of it's rear legs, but also some front legs. We can have leg problems. If we can solve these problems or reduce this, we can, in my opinion, we can really have a higher farrowing rate if we can save some of the sows. And this means that we need to focus on, as soon as we see symptoms for lameness, that we give treatment or move them to the hospital bed. I think it's been improved in many of our farms now, but it still can improve some things. It's very important to focus on this. Also, we must say that check for sure vitamin E and selenium. We need to have enough in this, and very often in the feed, in my opinion, is a little bit too low, especially in the end of the summer period, where the grain is old, or perhaps using the rest in the silos can be a problem, or the new grain can be a problem. And even though we have a fantastic good grain quality now, it's still some toxins area that can influence. And in my opinion, the recommendation is just to put in toxin binder all the time. Standard dose toxin binder, simply to take off this of the risk. Also, I'll mean that now we're jumping, but for the recommendations for the AI stations, actually they do not now use circovirus vaccination. And we know that circovirus can go through the semen. And I think that's a mistake for them not to use circo vaccination of the boars. Simply because in the boar studs they use very young sows, because the young sows is the future and will have a higher index. But the risk is that there can be a shedding of PCV2. And if this is the case, then we can have more reproductive problems. Now we'll go back to some old disease, very, very old disease that was classic for mummified piglets, and also the dying of the piglets is during gestation, step by step. It's a very, very slow virus. Most virus we are working with is very, very rapid. It goes very, very fast going around. But in the sow, it goes from one fetus, from one piglet to the next piglet, to the next piglet. So very, very slow infection one of each other. And this means that when you see sometimes different dead-born or stillborn piglets that have in different phases, different sizes and development. And this means that it's probably parvo that's involved in this. So if you see like this, it's always call us so we can perhaps take samples to send in. Very often when we find we can find it in the lab, and in this case we can make a plan for this. Also, it can be a lot of other similar diseases. It's quite conclusive when you see these different phases of fetus, but still you cannot rule out some of the other things. Also, circovirus or leptospira, but check it and send for a lab. What is important is to send from different litters, not only one litter, but send in for 3 or 4 different, and you can freeze down some of the litters until you have enough. In this case, we sent in 22 stillborn piglets and mummified, and then the lab will try to investigate some of these different litters. What can we see also for parvovirus? Normally, returns that is not systematic. It's very, it's not regular. It goes up and down. And what is very, very also, we saw small litters. And small litters means that in the old days, they said it's classic for parvo that every sow have less than 7 piglets. So if you have some sows that only have 5 or 6, it could be parvo. But now the prolific lines is very good. But if you see sows that give 10, 11, 12, it's can be parvo. And what can parvo do is that if the infection is quite early, then and there's no skeleton before 40 days, if the infection is quite early, then these very early infected piglets will be resorbed. So you cannot see, but they will deliver to the as normal time, but the litter size is simply small. For sure, dead piglets and mummifications, abortions of piglets of also different size. And what you can start calculating, and I see in many farms that you do not write down mummified piglets, because you say we write born alive and stillborn, but the mummified is so small we don't recognize it as a big problem. But if you write down and what we see in many farms, it will be standard, that will be 0.3 or 0.4 mummified per each litter, and this means that it will be within 1 out of 3 will be normal to have one of this mummified. So it's not unusual. It's simply because they don't have enough space inside the sow, inside the uterus. So please registrate also mummified. I know you do a lot of writing all the time, but it's a sign that if we have parvo. What to do? Diagnosis, for sure, we have seen PPV type 1 for many, many years, but now it's changed a little bit to PPV 2 or PPV 27 it's called. It's been seen since 2014 and it's actually developing. So sure, vaccinate against parvo. There's a lot of vaccines available, but use vaccine that protect for both type of parvo, and most of it on the Danish market is that. For sure, there's a problem, or you believe that you see many stillborn or also mummified. Don't wait too long time, then just do blitz vaccination for parvo for all sows, because it's very important to stop this development. Sometimes we have seen in 3 months, more or less 2 or 4 stillborn for every litter every time, because we were too late for doing vaccination. So if you see an increase, we can submit to the lab, yes, to find out. But if you still see every week that's too high, then please do the vaccination against parvo, simply to be proactive, to be in front of the problem. For sure, call us to find out what we should do, but I'll recommend to do it like this, because parvo vaccination is quite cheap. Boars will not get sick, but can shed virus in the semen, but it's very, very seldom. It's more like a vector. Then another disease is leptospira. What we have seen in this one, also in PCR, also sent in for 13 different piglets, what we found there. And leptospira we can also find in blood samples. If we check like blood samples, we can find as well. There's a lot of different kind of leptospira. In this case, is Bratislava. And if we see again stillborn and abortions, then it can be like this. This leptospira is a bacteria that is like a screwdriver, you know, like this one. This is an electron microscope. It's very specific sign of this, and normally it's shedded through urine. And the carrier for this is rats and mice. So if the farms that have leptospira is very, very often always rats and mice. So what we have to do, we can do vaccination and other things, but we need to kill the rats, okay? Because the rats carry a lot of other diseases. For sure we can do vaccination, but if the rats carrying on all the time, then we cannot solve it. So really focus on minimizing this problem. I know we cannot, you know, extinguish totally a population of rats and mice, but we can minimize the problem. It's excreted through, for sure, through urine, and the rats are going around and eating and pissing and shitting all over, and this can carry, for sure, this leptospira. It causes abortions, typically 2 to 4 weeks before farrowing. And also very often what we see typical is that the stillborn is carried within a brown discoloration of the placenta. So if you see the placenta is normally, you know, more purple look and look normal, it's more brown, like it's actually been some period that it's been dead for some time, and it's, in my opinion, quite typical for this leptospira. Sows are not really getting sick, but for sure it's a problem that we have many stillborn or abortions. What can you do? There's only one vaccine, and this you have to use. Paucis eryparvolepto. It's a quite hard vaccine. If you use it, they are ill 1 or 2 days after not eating, a little bit losing appetite, not feeling well. And the other thing is that although it's included for parvo, but the vaccination of this eryparvolepto is not protected good enough for the parvo. So you have to give an extra parvo vaccine, otherwise you will soon sometimes have a parvo problem, as we just described. Again, rats and mice must be controlled, and I think for many farms, when I go, you give something for rats, but you can do a little bit more. You understand? Kill those buggers, huh? We don't want them in the farm. They destroy a lot of other things. But sometimes the owners say, we cannot do that, but it can carry a lot of diseases, and this is one of them. Also, hygiene, general hygiene, also could be nice to improve. It's a working place also. It's nice to have a clean environment and everything is good. But will help to protect for this. And then we can give antibiotics. Actually, antibiotics is working very, very well. But the problem is yellow card. I have a problem, but we cannot use it. In the United States, like in Trumpy, he says it will work very, very great if you have access to give 14 days of treatment. It will be a perfect solution. It will really take care of leptospira, but we cannot do like this. But we can do the vaccination. We can do some treatment for some of the animals that have, discharge from the vulva and have like this. But we cannot give a general treatment for antibiotics. No. Then we're jumping to PCV3. PCV3 is in all farms. We believe that it was some farms that have and some were known, and they checked, and now this is in Danish, but they checked for the SEGES, the Danish Pig and Research Center. They checked how is typical for the sows that have PCV3. And they saw that it's the same for high firing rate and low firing rate. So actually PCV3 cannot influence this a lot, not in Sege's opinion. But we must say that we have seen in, we have to speed up. We have seen in some farms that have a lot of abortions, and also that can be a problem also. So for PCV3, there's no vaccine, but what is classical for this is this discoloration, purple area, normally coming just after farrowing, that you see some of the sows that have a purple landscape around, probably around behind in the rear. And in my opinion, it's classical. I have taken some blood samples for them having, and they're very, very high for PCV3. But unfortunately, there's no treatment. You can give penicillin, and actually it's working okay, and the sows will recover. It takes 1 week or something, but then this discoloration of the skin will resolve. PCV2 can also cause, especially for younger sows, gilts and first and second parity. We can sometimes see that they have problems, and normally we can see it because they are low in total bone. So in combination, very often we sometimes can see for parvo can be a problem. So sure, please give vaccination, give them 4 weeks of age for the coming gilts, and also for 24 weeks, just to protect for this PCV2. You can take blood samples to check if they're shedding also. Chlamydia, and more abortions and stillborn. Actually, chlamydia is also for human, young human, not like me, I don't know, old man, but young men and women can have like this. But they need to protect, you need to use protection, but for the sows we cannot use protection, because if we use protection we will not be pregnant. So we can, but we can give treatment for them, antibiotic, and this is the only way we can do. We very seldom find it. It will overgrow if we send to the lab. They will overgrow. They will, for different other bacteria, but it will be for sure be present. This is what we sometimes see from the vulva, that you see some discharge like yellow discharge coming out from this, we call flood coming out. Cystitis, I think it's a hidden disease, and it's probably because the sows are not drinking enough. We believe that they drink enough, but they drink a little bit too little. And this means that the urination will be not so frequent as we would like to, and this means that there will grow bacteria inside. And if it grows bacteria inside, then the farrowing rate will be low, because when you do inseminations, there will be some bacteria, because the urinary tract is very close to where you do inseminations, and can carry bacteria inside. We know from human, for women, that if they have cystitis, it's very, very difficult to be pregnant. It's not necessarily the same for the sows, but it's a little bit the same. So please check that the sows are giving enough water. 4 liters per minute they should have. And when I do, sometimes it's not, should be running. Flushing, like you drink 1 beer, now we drink beer. For me, 15, 20 minutes I have to pee. And it's the same for the sows. If you drink more, it will flush the urinary tract. Can be some calcium deposit. We can see what we saw, a white discoloration around the vulva sometimes. We can check it for USK. Also some blood parasites we can find. Blood parasites can be actually a problem, can reduce the immunity for us. If we use vaccines, it will not work very well. And very often when I check for blood sampling for the abortion material, some of the sows here is aborted, they have a lot of blood parasite. It's a bacteria that grows on the erythrocytes, the blood cells, the red blood cells. You can give extra iron, you can give treatment for sure, and can also help for this. But check for this. PRS for sure, we know, can cause a problem. We don't have a lot of problems for this in Denmark, but in Spain, for instance, they have farrowing rate for 50-60% and pre-weaning mortality 40-50%. Crazy hard disease. So it's very good that we have a PRS eradication plan. Then also some other different diseases, all diseases that can create a high fever that can also cause, returns or be abortions. So take home message. Just do like Brian just told us. This is rule number 1. Systematic work and quality in the work. Make a team for you to do like this. Also be more fun. Control of different infections. And for sure, what I'll say, check the water flow, that they'll have enough, because this is some structural thing that we really can change the difference, that if they have enough water, then the flushing will help us in many ways. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Hans. And as I said before, if there's any questions both from the audience here or from up north, I'm looking at the camera, up north, you can write me on the chat, I have it here. I think it was a nice presentation, Hans, and it really shows how many different things that influence this reproduction and this farrowing rate. And of course, it's always in our minds out there when we see lower numbers of farrowing rates. There's a great palette of things we need to keep in mind. So it doesn't seem like we have questions from the chat. And if that's not the case, any questions here? No? I think you look thirsty, all of you. I think we'll say thank you to Hans again, and then we'll enjoy a beer down here. And hopefully up north and on the Western Fyn, you can ask Peter if he gives a beer out there. So thank you for this time, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas when it comes to that. Thank you for today.